strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors. Welcome to the Know Nothins Show with Alan Elkins and Rich Freedman, who have been in the legal profession for over 30 years and now want to share their experience and knowledge with you, the public. Hey, maybe they do know a little something. Join Alan and Rich by calling in at 888-565-1470 or watching them on elkinsandfreedman.com on Monday nights. And now, here's Alan Elkins and Rich Freedman.
Hello, everybody. I'm Alan Elkins. The other idiot's not here yet. This is the second week in a row, Mr. Producer. I think we're going to have to start looking for another partner. You know, is it too much? Is it too much for this idiot to get here on time? We do a stinking half-an-hour show. In any event, everybody, it's October 28th. I wish you all well. If you'd like to join us by phoning in, we're at 888-565-1470. I'll say it again for you that are mildly, I can't say the word retarded, so I won't say that. 888-565-1470. If you'd like to actually stream along with us online, you can go to elkinsandfreedman.com. ELKINSANDFREEDMAN. So you can share in the merriment with us. And there we are, the number's actually up there. And I must admire, my hair is starting to get a little longer. Last week, you may have heard the story. I'm done with the dye jobs. It's natural white color, and I must say I'm getting used to it. Now, I'd love to make small talk with Freedman, except Freedman's not here. So I will start by myself, and we'll see where we go from there. First thing, this is the part where I'd say, so Freedman, how was your weekend? Oh, it was okay, Alan. What did you do? Oh, I went to a movie. That's interesting, Richard. What movie did I see? But we'll wait until he runs in here. In the meantime, I'll just tell you, what I did was kind of interesting. I grew up where a lot of my music consisted of the rock bands. I love the Who, the Stones, the Moody Blues. You get the idea. Well, this weekend in Delray, there was a small production of Tommy the Musical. And for those of you that know the Who, the Tommy album's probably one of the best ever. And when I think back, these guys are pretty smart just to go ahead and create a whole album that just followed along the way that it did. The story of this deaf, dumb, and blind boy who comes alive, discovers, that he's just a pinball whiz. So I saw the production. I was wondering how it would be. Delray's, it's a small little community theater, but for $20, I said, what the heck? I'd spend more for dinner. So I must say it was entertaining, 2 hours. It's kind of a step up above high school productions, maybe college productions, and it's kind of a leapfrog on to the next step. And I have to say, most of the performances as a whole were actually pretty good. Not all the voices are great, but the leads for the most part were adequate. So I thought that was pretty enjoyable. So now's the point where I'd say, okay, Richard, that's what I did, so tell us about the movies. But again, Dummy's not here, so I'll keep going. The other thing that I did, I think I've said this before, I spend weekends at Home Depot. There's just no getting away from it. There's always some problem, something's breaking. So my weekend project this week was me against the sidewalk. And by that I mean, when I moved into the house that I'm living in about 12 years ago, I tried to, there wasn't adequate sprinkler coverage. There was one sprinkler maybe about 10 feet away, and sometimes it would reach, but if the wind blew, it didn't. So I figured, all right, I know what I need to do. I need to go underneath the sidewalk. It's the only way to do it. So how do you go underneath the sidewalk? Well, what you do, you begin cramming, objects in there, including a garden hose turning on the water. And let me tell you, I've been doing this now for 2 weeks. So what happened, I got the hose all the way through, and I figured success now as long as I can get the sprinkler pipe in there. But for whatever reason, I start on one side and then try to poke this object through the other side. Now all I've done, the good news is I got the garden hose through. I realize how boring the story is, but since my knucklehead partner's not here, I'll keep going. So what ended up happening is that I took, you ever see the poles that you use to change light bulbs? So I had that in my garage, and I thought, that's perfect. I'm going to ram that sucker through, and I'll bore a hole all the way in. Well, I hit something or other. I don't know what it is. But the problem is I can't get the doggone thing to go all the way through. So I gave up about 4 o'clock. And you know how bad it is. I don't know anybody else there that have had this problem. I keep sweating like a pig. You know, you start off early in the morning. It's nice and cool out, not so bad. But by about 2 o'clock, you know, I keep sweating. Oh, I think Dumbbell's here. Oh, here he is. Mr. Freedman, you're late again. No, I know you have some lame-ass excuse, so why don't you pull the mic up there and tell us what's your excuse?
I got a text message from some of my New York fans.
Yeah.
And they said, quote,
it's hard to believe
you
you're
were shredding
fans.
me.
I am. I'm shredding you. This is the second
what
week in a row.
What were you doing to shred me?
What am I doing shredding you? I should put you through a shredder, including that tie that you've had about for 20-plus years.
It's like wine. It gets better with age.
It does. All right. Well, all right. What? Listen, I already talked about seeing the production of Tommy. It was good. Anybody? You know, and the last thing to say about that, you know, the theater in Del Rey, it's a lot like our audience, skews on the really old side, at least at this station. So what happens, you know, when I'm walking in there, I am thinking to myself, this guy has to be listening to, you know, Tommy Dorsey or somebody in the 30s. And I'm wondering,
Tommy Dorsey's great. I love Tommy Dorsey music.
But Tommy the musical, based on the Who's album, you know, they probably don't have a friggin' clue. So anyway, the bottom line is some people there, you're like, Murray, what's this Tommy? Who's Tommy?
I mean, they bought tickets and they didn't know what they were getting?
I think they're season ticket holders. So some people were there to see Tommy because they know what it is. And then you have other people that have one foot in the grave. You know, they're like dozing in the chairs. But I guess they have season passes.
So they went to it. It was free.
Now, enough about that. And I talked about Home Depot. What did you do this weekend?
Okay, so very good movie. I give it 4 out of 5 Elkins Freedman stars.
Stars?
4 out of 5 Elkins Freedman stars.
We don't give stars, but if we had stars, you'd give them stars. Gold stars?
Bronze.
Bronze stars. All right. What'd you see?
I saw Captain Phillips with Tom Hanks.
So what'd you like about it? What didn't you like?
Well, I mean, the only thing that bothered me is that they get on this big ship. You know, a cargo ship. Yeah. Okay, there's absolutely no security. There's not even a handgun. There's not a knife. There's like nothing.
Not a handgun? Nothing?
Nothing. And 4 of these hijackers, or I guess that's what you call them,
Somalian pirates?
Right, just 4 of them. 4 of them. One of them was like 16 years old. Okay, they take over this ship. If they just had one security guard.
Well, wait a minute, but they're on a little ship. I saw the commercial. They're on a little ship, right? And they go up to this big ship?
They're on a little motorboat. Okay, and they come up alongside the ship.
Yeah, what are they, machine guns? They have weapons?
They had, I don't even think they had any weapons.
All right, now, it just so happens in the room here, we have Linda, who also saw the movie.
What?
Linda saw the movie, too. Linda, yell out.
There were some guns, but if there was like 1 or 2 security guards on the ship.
Come on, Linda, get up
machine guns. They would have been able to get near the ship.
AK-47 rifles, and I give it 5 out of 5. I was on the edge of my seat the entire time.
You might have been on the edge of your seat, but for another reason. Okay.
At the end of the movie, it was actually...
See, Freddie knows what I'm talking about.
All right. Jeez.
I'll tell you later. It was over your head.
You did. It flew. My head's here. Flew right over. Okay. The edge of the seat.
I'll tell you at the commercial
break. There's a joke there.
There's a joke.
You don't want to share it with our audience?
No, I think they got the joke.
If they saw the movie, you have to see the movie to get the joke?
No. You didn't have to see the movie.
Like the edge of your seat.
But it was a good movie.
I must be a moron.
But it was a good movie, and you were...
You liked it, and Linda liked it.
You were on your seat.
The movie of the year.
I don't know about that.
Get carried away, Linda. I don't know.
It was a good movie.
So listen, so you're saying that if they had a weapon on board, and they were known to be in an area frequented by pirates.
Exactly. So they had like a security guard with... A couple security guards, 1 or 2 with some guns, they would have been able to shoot them.
We have a phone call. Let's stop
Is it
the
a wrong number
here.
or is it the right number?
Mystery caller, would you state your name, please, and where you're calling from?
Calling from Boca.
From Boca.
Boca?
Oh, is this Mr. Merle's movie reviews?
Yes, it is.
And you commented on Captain Phillips a couple weeks ago before I cut you off, correct?
I'm glad to hear that Richard Friedman doesn't remember that the pirates had any weapons.
No, he doesn't remember.
I went out to get some popcorn at that moment, so I missed that.
Yeah, he had to urinate really badly, so he missed that scene. There were weapons, though, huh?
There were lots of weapons.
What do you mean there was 4 guys? How many weapons could there have been?
I agree with her. It was a 5 out of 5.
It's a 5 out of a 5. Yeah.
All right, fine.
All right, now listen.
This weekend I even saw a better movie that people don't know about.
I saw, you know what was a good movie? Enough Said.
Well, enough said about the stinking conversation. Wait a minute.
What was the movie
Mr. Merle's movie reviews, what movie are you speaking of?
Instructions Not Included.
Instructions Not Including. What is that about, Mr. Merle?
Great movie.
Well, tell us what makes it great, besides saying it's great.
It's a heartwarming. It's one of the best movies I've seen in years.
Yeah, enough with the adjectives. Tell us the plot of the movie.
The plot of the movie is a story about a gentleman who gets his child left at his door by the woman who he impregnated, and he raises the child on his own, and I don't want to say any more to give it away.
Is this movie in wide circulation, or was it one of the artsy theaters?
Not at Cinemark. No, it's in wide circulation.
Who stars in the movie?
Unknown people.
Well, geez, I'm sure that's doing a brisk business at the box office.
It actually is doing really well. It's one of those that go to the Canes Art. Great movie. Great movie.
All right, so anybody out there that's
just
interested...
say the name one more time, just in case someone wants to see the movie.
Excuse me?
Just say the name of the movie one more time.
Instructions Not Included.
Instructions not included. And it didn't have anything to do with sex devices, with batteries, things like that. Was there any nudity in the movie?
The major criteria of the Elkins Freedman show, although there is some sex.
There is some sex in the movie? Okay, now you're starting to get me interested. And is this male nudity or female nudity?
This is a little both.
A little of both. All right, well, we won't even go there. Thank you, Mr. Movie Review. Anything on the horizon that you care to share with us, movie-wise?
No. Saw some great movies I told you recently.
Well, you know, the number one movie of the week was Grandpa.
I saw Grandpa.
You saw Grandpa.
How many stars do you give it?
Grandpa doesn't get too many stars in my book.
Really? Does Grandpa get to sit on your laptop? Or no?
Like, you know.
All right, so listen, that was the number one movie of the week out there. And, you know, I actually saw the trailer for Catching Fire. You know what that is?
And I also saw 12 Years a Slave.
Oh, yeah. Is that playing? I didn't know that was playing yet.
Serious movie, huh?
Serious movie. Done really well, very graphic.
How did you compare it? Now, listen, the truth is, you know, we have a couple movies. We got the Oprah Winfrey movie and you have the 12 Slaves movie. If you had to pick one movie on a theme, you know, dealing with the oppressed African American, which movie do you pick between the two?
I saw both of them. And I would definitely have to say that I think 12 Years Slave.
12 Years.
That's what I heard. That's an excellent movie.
Now, listen, this might be a good time to tell everybody, Mr. Friedman and I, as much as we love doing this the broadcast on this station, we are now moving on up.
As George Jefferson would say, we're moving on up.
And listen, and you can come along for the ride, Mr. Merle, because beginning this Friday, we're going to be on 12:30 a.m. doing a Friday show when we can really kick back and be ourselves. Give me from 7 to 8 p.m.
Yeah, if you don't, some of you were not good at math. That's 1 hour.
1 hour what?
1 hour show.
Yeah, we're doing a
Between
1
6
hour.
and 7 means it's a 1 hour show.
We're so doggone good. We're going to have twice the amount of fun that we're having now, and hopefully
1
there
hour
will.
of Alan and Rich just can't get enough.
That's right.
Can't get enough. Kind of like Steve says to you, Mr. Merle. I heard him in the background.
You can call me Daryl. I'm like one of your friends now.
Yes. All right, thanks, and you'll join us perhaps on Friday if you can think of some witty banter.
What was that?
Bye-bye.
All right, you saying good night? I think you said good night.
I think you said good night.
Not a minute too soon.
Yeah, not a minute too soon. Now, Richard, we're going to keep going here since you got here late, and we'll start to get into very important announcements. I don't know how many people are aware of this, but today was National Chocolate Day. Do you know
Chocolate Day. They actually have a day for chocolate. Now,
They do.
Is this white chocolate or dark chocolate or?
Well, okay, that's a great question.
With almonds or without almonds?
Now listen, nuts like you. There. If you love chocolate, and who doesn't, it's your lucky day. Today, October 28th, is one of the best holidays of the year. It's National Chocolate Day. Now, get a load of this. Not to be confused with Plain Chocolate Day or National White Chocolate Day or even Milk Chocolate Day or World Chocolate Day. Today is dedicated to all things chocolate. In other words, we don't discriminate today. No white chocolate, no black chocolate.
Dark chocolate.
Everybody.
It doesn't have like those Rice Krispies in it. What is that called? Nestle's Crunch chocolate?
It can be anything. Now, this, I don't know if you know this. Okay, where did chocolate come from, you might ask?
Where you have any idea? From? I usually get mine at the Godiva store.
Aren't you? Come on. I know that can't possibly be true for a cheap guy like you.
Because once a month, if you sign up for the Godiva Chocolate Club, you can go in there once a month for a free sample.
So you get your free sample every month? But of course you do. All right. Well, anyway. Here, first discovered by the ancient Mayans, people have been enjoying chocolate for centuries. Not only does chocolate taste good, but studies show when eaten in moderation, chocolate has a variety of health benefits.
Like what?
Okay, for instance, well, first it says dark chocolate. Most people, I think, know. Dark chocolate, which can last for many years if stored properly, has been shown to lower blood pressure and cholesterol. And it says other varieties may help reduce stroke and cardiovascular disease. Now, the truth is, in our office, once a month I go to Costco, and those girls in the office, they love the dark chocolate with the, cranberries or some fruit in there.
Oh, yeah, right. Yep.
Acai berries.
They go through that bag.
They do.
In about, 2
it's
days?
Like putting a trough around this one girl, Melissa.
They haven't had a meal in a month.
They haven't, but they love their chocolate. And I think I know why, actually, Melissa craves chocolate. It says, you probably also heard, it's an aphrodisiac. It says Italian researchers have found that women involved in a study had a better and happier sex life when consuming chocolate every day.
I think I'm going to pick up 10 pounds on the way home tonight.
It's not going to do you any good, Richard. That ship has sailed, so to speak.
It's actually sunk.
Now, let me see what it says here. And we probably killed this story, but anyway, today was National Chocolate Day. Now, my trusty producer has said you ought to lead off with the best stories. And listen, if you're kind enough to follow us over to the new station, AM 1230 on your radio dial, WBZT, Iheart Radio, you can stream along with us. I'll probably do this story, but Freddie, can you put it up today about the female bodybuilder? Get a load of this, okay?
Hold on.
You should really be watching this, okay? We have up on elkinsandfreedman.com a female bodybuilder. Wow. And here is the story. I don't know if you can see this. I'm going to hold it up. There it is. It's hard to see.
Turn her into a man?
No. My article, Freddie was nice and put that up. Mine says steroids gave me a penis. That's what it says. So here's the story. A female gym junkie has revealed how she now looks like a man after developing a steroid addiction which has mutated her body. It says Candace Armstrong is her name. It says she used to be a pretty blonde. That may be open to. I actually do have a picture of that. Freddie, you have that one? All right, anybody watching, you can see, I think it's debatable whether or not she was a pretty blonde, but she did look more feminine. It says Candace Armstrong, who used to be a pretty blonde, has been left with a stubble, broad shoulders, and a 1-inch penis. So, rumor, she got you beat by half an inch here, Richard.
I knew you were going to say that.
There you go. Hey, where are these New York fans of yours? Why don't these guys call up?
I think they're listening, enjoying the show.
New York people, call up. Oh, here she is. Actually, she does look like a woman.
It's unbelievable what that steroids did to her.
I just can't.
What a metamorphosis.
Please, if you're not on our site, you ought to go on our site. It says Candace, who used to be a pretty blonde, has been left with a 1-inch penis after using the drug in a desperate attempt to improve her shape. So you see here that picture that Freddie had up there, I think was from 2008. Now, it says she was a former London barmaid. She said her nightmare began 2 years ago when she joined a gym to improve her physique. Armstrong, who suffers from what's called body dysmorphia, revealed she would work out for 3 hours a day, and she was convinced that her upper body was too slender. Now, if you see that picture, oh my goodness, there she she is. That ain't no female. That's an unbelievable picture, anybody. I haven't even seen that picture.
Wow.
Says,
that's unbelievable.
Despite people telling her, yeah, she was developing great biceps, it wasn't enough. Armstrong says she grew a 1-inch penis after taking the steroids. It says... she's a British. Of course she is British. Armstrong told the British tabloid, the Sunday People, she only started using the drug because she hated her body. But now things are 1,000 times worse. And it says, and I'm reading this, so I think I can say this, it said that she altered her body so much that her clitoris grew into a 1-inch penis. She developed facial hair, acne, and even began walking like a man. The transition has become so extreme, she now dresses in men's clothes, so she isn't mistaken for a man in drag, and avoids women's toilets. So I guess she would. Yeah. Now that's a tough one. Does she use the men's room or the one or the?
I think she's better off using the room. You know, some places have like the men, women, and then they have like the family one.
Yeah.
I think that's the one she should. Yeah, that's when she
might scare the young children and they're being changed. I don't know. She says, I look like a man, and I hate it. Even my own mother told me I'm not pretty anymore.
So, in other words, she doesn't like looking the way she looks.
That's what she
just
says.
Can't stop herself. She's like addicted to it.
She says, I don't want to become a man. I just want to be normal. Well, honey, quit using the steroids, you imbecile.
I know.
Says, I've stopped having any sort of sex drive for men. Says, I tried having sex with a girl, but that didn't do it for me either. It says it's not like it's turned me into a lesbian. So she says, I used to get a lot of attention from men. Now few people find me attractive. Go figure that.
I think she needs to see a doctor right away.
He says, I have no sex drive, and I'm now more insecure than ever. Well, I'm sorry, but, you know, it looks like... I don't know. You're a freak, lady. What can I tell you? And I mean that in the kindest possible way.
You always do.
Now, do you want to take a break, or should we keep going?
What time is it?
Let's go ahead and pimp our commercial, if you would. We'll go to a break, and we'll be right back.
Yeah, don't go away. We'll be right back, and I'll be here.
Life is so overwhelming right now. The emotional and financial challenges are too much. More debt than you can possibly handle? Facing divorce or other family law problems? Injured and don't know where to turn? Where can I get solid, affordable legal guidance? At Elkins Freedman, an experienced lawyer will explain options and treat you with humanity. They help people throughout Central and South Florida solve these problems. This is a law firm you can trust, and they actually pick up the phone. They have a 30-year track record of positive results, and they make legal costs manageable for people from all walks of life. Make the call, 1-800-992-1277, or visit them on the web at elkinsandfriedman.com. When you visit, you might even meet Tiffany, the office mascot. Elkins & Freedman take the intimidation and worry out of getting the legal help you really need. Call today, 1-800-992-1277, and begin to make sense of your life.
Hello, we're back, everybody.
We're back, and we got a few minutes left, so let's make some good use of the time. Now, listen,
I know there are people in New York listening, and I can't remember. I was trying to explain to Uncultured Freedman about that the British artist, actually, that's now, painting his graffiti on all kinds of things, and that guy's a superstar. I mean, instantly making properties more valuable. So if you're there, call us. The number is 1-888-565-1470. Remember, beginning this Friday, we'll be broadcasting on the Iheart Radio, 12:30 a.m.
Yeah, make sure you download the Iheart app.
Yeah, it's free to download.
It's free, and you can instantly be on our show and be listening immediately.
And participate, and we'll be even more laid back, having an hour of fun. Now, Richard,
yes,
got a couple other articles here, and not a lot of time. Now, we could talk about, you saw the Penn State. I know you milked that Penn State joke enough.
Right, yep.
But you see, there was a huge settlement today where a lot of the boys that were
$56.9 million,
molested. How much was it? It was a lot.
I think it was $56.9 million, but there's still a few cases
and
they
there's still cases unresolved.
Yep.
In the coming weeks, maybe we can get the attorney back on that we had on as a guest that represents a lot of those victims. We can talk about it. But in the meantime, I've got a couple articles. One I just actually literally got today. I thought was kind of funny. Here's the story. Police in central Pennsylvania said they found a suspected groper of a fast food worker by following a trail of curly fries.
I don't want to interrupt you, but I think we have another caller coming in.
We have a caller in there? 3 callers?
3 callers?
3 minutes.
3 minutes.
Okay.
Do we have a caller or no
yeah,
caller?
It's the Frenchman from...
Caller, are you there?
No caller.
No caller.
We just lost the caller?
No,
we already have 3 minutes. I thought we had 3 callers.
Yeah, I've never seen Mr. Friedman this excited. He thought there were 3 callers online. Thank you. All right, we got 3 minutes left. So anyway, it started when a female employee at an Arby's in Lancaster County called police Wednesday night saying...
Lancaster, is that Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania. She was groped by a man as she handed over his order at the drive-through window. And you remember last week we had the McDonald's person getting accosted. But how do you reach? I mean, listen, I pull my car up. I've been through Arby's. How the heck do you reach through the window to feel somebody up?
You can't get that far.
My arm's just not that long enough.
You need a 20-foot arm.
I don't get it.
What, did he have one of those extension things? The things you squeeze, you pick up garbage at the beach?
I'm getting the visual of that.
Oh, we have a phone call. Oh, let's take a break and let's do the phone call.
Well, let's not take a break. Who's on the line there, mystery caller?
Hello?
Hello? Who's this?
This is the French guy.
The French guy?
French guy. What's the name of the New York graffiti artist that everybody's going crazy over?
Say it again. I couldn't hear you. What's the name of...
Yeah, you know how you've got the guy from Great Britain that's tagging all the buildings, making them worth a fortune now? That graffiti artist.
Mm-hmm.
You know who I'm talking about? Or no?
No, I have no clue.
All right.
I guess you got to get outside more often.
Yeah, you're as ignorant as Mr. Friedman, French guy. But hey,
don't give him. He's one of my big fans. Don't
I know
give him a tough
you're a
time.
Friedman fan. Now listen, we have a minute left. Are you going to follow us over to our new station?
Okay.
Will you follow us over to our new station?
Yes.
You heard we're moving. All right, you're going to get all your friends to come
remember
along
now it's
for the
12:30 on the AM dial.
12:30.
Even though there's no dials anymore.
Wait. When is it again? Is it?
It's going to be this Friday. It starts this Friday.
And it's every Friday.
And it's on Iheart Radio. I don't know if you have Iheart Radio. Well, I guess we're out of time here.
Okay. No, tell them it's 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock.
We have a new producer, and we're firing her, Mr. French guy.
8 o'clock, 7 to 8. Starts at 7, ends at 8.
So get Iheart Radio downloaded, and you can listen to us and participate.
12:30 a.m. starting this Friday and every Friday after that.
But thanks for calling today.
All right, so I guess
we're
to
out
our
of
local
time.
listeners, and hope you will follow us over to our new station.
And I say au revoir in honor of our French friend. Au revoir. We'll see you at our
happy
new location.
Chocolate Day.
Happy
I'm
Chocolate
stopping by
Day,
to get some right
everybody.
now.
All right. Nice talking to you, Richard.
You
Be on
and I'll
time
see you tomorrow
Friday.
in the office. Don't be late.
You have been listening to the Elkins and Freedman Know Nothins Show, where maybe you learned a little.